Have you ever stopped and wondered why those pro-level golfers can walk 18 holes 4 days in a row, they can hit practice rounds in between, and they still have energy to pound balls on the range after their round? While for you, one Saturday with your group has your knee barking and your tank running on empty. It's not because you're lazy, and it's not because you're too old. But look, there is a massive difference between how a high-level golfer lives off the course and what most 50-year-old high achievers are doing in between rounds. My name is Dr. Gayan Poovendran. I am a medical doctor and I specialize in sports and regenerative medicine. For the last 15 years, I have helped thousands of golfers conquer their knee pain without resorting to invasive surgery. Now, in this video, I am going to show you the off-course strategies that high-level golfers use. These are the ones they actually use based on a real study, and how a 52-year-old guy like you, a high-performing guy, can steal these moves and stay athletic, protect your knees, and get better results if you decide to do PRP or other regenerative treatments. By the end of this video, you will have one simple 12-week tour-inspired knee performance plan that you can follow without having to turn your life upside down. Now, before we get into it, if you want something that you can use before your very next round, I've put together a free 5-minute warm-up guide that is specifically designed for golfers that have knee pain. I call it the Ready for Tee Off guide, and you can grab it right now at readyforteeoff.com. It is absolutely free. There are no strings attached, so just go get it and come right back, and I promise I'm not going anywhere. All right, on the outside, the problem looks really simple. Your knee holds up on the front nine just fine. Somewhere on the back nine around hole 13 or 14, it starts to complain to you. So what do? You change your swing to survive the round and make sure you still have fun. You limp into the clubhouse and you crack a joke to your buddies and say, you know what, I'll be fine, I'll see you guys next week. But inside, the problem hits a little deeper. If you're like me, you still think of yourself as an athlete, the guy that people used to chase around, the guy that nobody could keep up with. Now you have 1 or 2 rounds of golf a week and you're wondering how you're gonna get down the stairs on Monday. You have already done the standard route, right? You've gone to see your doctor, you've done a quick visit, maybe you had a cortisone shot, it bought you a few weeks, then you got a brace. Now the word surgery has been floated around because you're not getting any better and there's not really a discussion after that. Now, philosophically, you know that cannot be the whole story. You, like me, you invest in your health. You do not buy this knee pain is just a part of getting older adage as being a serious answer. The truth is, the system that you walked into, the modern medical system, it is built to move you through fast. It is built to numb your pain, and it is built to keep inside the insurance rules to keep efficiency high. It is not designed for you. It is not designed to treat you like the 52-year-old athlete that you still are. Meanwhile, the golfers that are performing at the highest levels, they're living a completely different off-course life that nobody talks to you about, and that difference actually matters, especially when we start talking about things like PRP or stem cell treatments. Before we get into that, let me clear up a few myths. The first one is my favorite. Myth number 1 is pros are just talented and gifted and genetically more fortunate. They can handle more because they're special. The reality is, a study on high-level competitive golfers, this is Division I college players and touring pros, it showed that most of them are actually stacking very specific habits off the course. Think of somebody like Tiger Woods. Yes, he was very gifted from day one, but he changed the game because he took strength training, mobility, practice, and recovery deadly serious, even when nobody else was watching. Or Tom Watson, for that matter. He was 1 putt away from winning the Open at age 59 because he treated his body and his craft with discipline for decades, not just because he got hot one week. Now, in the study that I'm talking about, most golfers did a few things. They did specific golf resistance training about 3 days a week. They used recovery work like getting a massage or having a massage gun or a percussion tool. They changed their diet to help with performance, and they protected at least 6 hours of sleep a night, and some even went and saw a sleep specialist. Their gift was supported by their habits. Now look, you can't copy their genetics, but you can copy their process to get the most out of your own body. Myth number 2 is PRP is a magic fix. I just get the shot and I go. Reality, PRP is a very powerful tool, but it is not a magic wand. PRP, or platelet-rich plasma, means that we take your blood, we spin it down, we concentrate the healing platelets, and then we inject them into the damaged parts of your knee. The nice thing is there's no foreign substances and there's no cutting. There are really good studies that show PRP can reduce pain and improve function in knee arthritis, and for many patients, that relief lasts from between 6 and 12 months. When I say 6 to 12 months, those numbers are averages. So the people who do the best, they're the ones that are usually already moving and training and supporting their joints. joint. In my practice, when I do treat professional or high-level athletes with PRP, I'm often surprised because they recover a lot faster than I'm expecting. Think about somebody like Tiger Woods, right? He has rare talent, yes, for sure. But for years, he built a body that could handle being Tiger Woods, right? He did strength training, he did mobility, he had to endure endless practice, but he made sure that he focused carefully on recovery. The athletes of mine who do the best with PRP, they look more like that on the inside. They have been lifting, they have been working on their recovery, they're watching their diet, and they're trying to sleep like it matters. So for them, PRP is landing in a body that has been taken care of and primed, not ignored until the wheels are falling off. Myth number 3 is weight doesn't really matter as long as I'm active. And I get it, this is like a little taboo subject because everybody just says lose weight, but here's the reality. Weight is one of the biggest levers for knee load and long-term joint health. Research shows that losing even 5 to 10% of your body weight can significantly cut down pain, and it can slow cartilage growth. Every pound that you lose means several pounds less force through your knee with each step. That means every round you play at a slightly lower weight is less punishment on your joint. It is like turning down the volume on stress even before we talk about injections or surgery. So when you hear something like, well, you just got arthritis, you are missing those lifestyle levers that high-level golfers quietly use to stay in the game. Now, let's put PRP into context. I do not see regenerative medicine as a rigid ladder that you have to climb one rung at a time. I see it as a spectrum from lighter, low-invasive tools up to high, more powerful, higher involvement procedures. On the lighter end, we have things like peptides. These are tiny fragments of proteins or signaling chains. Think of them kind of like a text message for your body that your body uses to coordinate repair. We use them to gently shift the internal environment towards better healing and less inflammation. Then there's things like shockwave therapy. That is a focused sound wave aimed at stubborn tissue. It is non-invasive, and I use it to wake up areas that have been stuck and stimulate blood flow without having to stick anything into the joint. Now, as we move up the ladder, or we move towards the middle of the spectrum, we have PRP. That is probably one of the most popular treatments in regenerative medicine, and it is the foundation, it's the bedrock. We take your blood, we concentrate the healing platelets, we inject them exactly where your knee needs them. It is stronger than lifestyle alone, and it's less invasive than surgery, which is why it is often, again, the main workhorse for active golfers. And on the highest end of the spectrum, we have things like microfat or MFAT and BMAC. Microfat is a stem cell type procedure where we take a small amount of fat from your midsection. So yeah, you get a little bit of a liposuction, and we concentrate that down and inject a richer mix of regenerative cells and signals. Some studies show that it's up to 10 to 15 times stronger than a PRP. BMAC or bone marrow concentrate uses bone marrow that we take from where your strongest repair cells live. We concentrate that down and we place that right into the knee where it needs help. I see those last two, those heavy hitters, as the same part of the spectrum. Which one I pick really depends on your anatomy, your goals, your structure, your problem. It's not really from graduating from one to graduating to the next, as some people would like to suggest. Now, here is the part that matters for you. Yes, PRP is usually the centerpiece of the conversation for a still playing athletic 50-something. But how well it works really depends heavily on the body, which is you, that we are treating. So if you're lifting, you're recovering, you're cleaning up your food, and you're losing weight, and you're actually getting good high quality sleep, a mid-range tool like PRP behaves like a much more powerful option. If you are not, even these strongest tools like microfat and bone marrow, they're fighting your weak, they're not helping your joint pain. And I get it, look, you're not 25 years old anymore, but neither are the guys on the Champions Tour, and they are still out there competing and living their best. Again, Tom Watson, remember, he was one putt away from winning the Open at 59. He was walking a brutal links course when most of the guys his age were watching from the couch. That didn't happen by accident. And it wasn't just his genes. It happened because he kept living like an athlete. The way you live off the course, how you train, recover, eat, sleep, that is what keeps that identity alive in your 50s. And it is the same reason treatments like PRP and shockwave or anything else in regenerative medicine spectrum actually helps deliver the results that you want, instead of it just becoming another checkbox that you tried and it didn't work out. So here is our one clear plan. For the next 12 weeks, I want you to follow a tour-inspired knee performance plan. This is built on 3 habits. Number 1, golf-specific resistance training 2 to 3 days a week. Number 2, at least 6 hours of high-quality sleep every night. And number 3, one clear nutrition change, maybe just cutting out the junk food, plus a realistic 5 to 10% weight loss target if you need it. You are not trying to live like a full-time pro. You're not hiring full-time chefs or having to have a personal trainer every day of the week with you. But what you are doing is you're taking some of those tools and you're living like a 52-year-old athlete that you still are. Let's walk through why this changes everything, especially if you're considering something like PRP. Reason number 1, resistance training shares the load with your knee. If you do this, if you lift 2 to 3 times a week, you focus on your hips, your glutes, your core, your muscles become the shock absorbers and your knee stops taking every hit alone. You feel more stable over the ball. You can still finish your swing on the back nine instead of guarding it. If you don't, well, then the same weak spots stay weak. Your knee, every round, the force of your swing drills into the same irritated tissue. The pain builds, your confidence drops, and your options, especially regenerative medicine options, slowly begin to narrow. Reason number 2, recovery takes the daily tension off the knee. So if you do this, you build a simple recovery routine. You start rolling out your tight muscles with a foam roller, you start using a percussion gun, you start getting massage, you get soft tissue work, and you have lighter days in between your heavier ones. That's what it looks like. If you do this, your muscles move more freely, your knee tracks better, and the joint stops feeling like it's grinding through every step. If you don't, tight muscles stay tight. They keep yanking on the knee from above and below. The joint pays the price for stiffness everywhere else, and even light activity feels like more work than it should. Reason number 3, diet and weight stop fighting your knees. So if you do this, you add a balanced meal with protein and carbs around your rounds. You cut out ultra-processed junk food on golf days. You aim for a realistic 5 to 10% weight loss if you need it. What happens is your energy becomes steadier. Your baseline inflammation, which is a driver of pain, it drops. And every step and every swing becomes less punishment on your knee. And if you ignore this advice, well, food stays random, weight creeps up, and then each pound that you add adds more force through the joint. Then pain becomes your default. And then even the best injection that anybody can do is swimming upstream. Number 4, sleep becomes your quiet performance enhancer. So if you do this, if you protect at least 6 hours of sleep as a non-negotiable, your body finally gets a predictable window to repair. You wake up with joints that feel more reset instead of just dragging yesterday's pain along for the ride. And if you don't, well, short sleep and interrupted sleep, it keeps you in a low-grade fight or flight stress response. Your pain threshold drops. Your inflammation, remember, the driver of pain, goes higher, and even small swings feel bigger to your knee. And reason number 5, the whole spectrum of regenerative medicine works better, even with PRP at the center. If you do this, you build those 4 pillars into your life and you see regenerative medicine as a spectrum, not a magic button. We become teammates. Peptides and shockwave, they may help nudge and wake up the tissue. PRP that sits in the middle becomes your workhorse, your own concentrated platelets injected right where your knee needs the help. Bone marrow and microfat, they stand ready as heavier options if your joint needs more support. When your habits are in place, every one of these tools moves up a weight class. PRP does what it's supposed to do, what it's designed to do. And if you ever need the heavier options, you come in with a body that's already prepared to heal. And if you don't, well, everything on that spectrum turns into a let's cross our fingers and hope that this one works. Yeah, you get to say you tried PRP, but what really happened is you put a really powerful tool in a system that wasn't really ready to have it be helped. And that kind of sucks. Look, you are not chasing a miracle. What you're trying to do is you're building a system where your habits and your treatments are finally on the same team. That is what it means to live like an athlete in your 50s. And that is when a mid-spectrum tool like PRP can punch way above its weight class for you. All right. Let's make your first step tiny but concrete. Today's exercise I'm pulling from the Ready for Tee Off routine is body weight squats with hip openers. Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna stand with your feet about shoulder width apart. You're gonna sit back down into a low controlled squat like you're trying to sit into a chair behind you. At the bottom of this squat, I want you to gently push one knee out to the side, hold it for a beat, then bring it back to the center, then stand up. On the next rep, do the same exact thing, but now with the other knee. For this one, you're gonna aim for one set of 6 repetitions on each hip. My coaching cue for this one is make sure that you keep your chest up, keep your weight through your heels, and don't let your knees cave inwards. This is not a powerlifting squat, so think slow and controlled. Why does this help? Well, this one helps wake up the glutes and the small stabilizer muscles around your hips that protect your knees during during the golf swing. So when your hips are strong and open, your knee is not taking every bit of the load by itself. Now for the complete 5-minute routine, go and grab the free Ready for Tee Off guide at readyforteeoff.com. It does have illustrated instructions for all 6 of the exercises in order that you can pull up on your phone right before your round. If this video hit home for you, please don't keep it to yourself. I know that you have at least one guy in your group who is toughing it out and pretending that his knee is fine while he's quietly wondering if his best golf is behind him. So please help him out. Send him this video and let him see that there is a way to still live like the athlete that he still is inside. I'm Dr. Gayan Poovendran. Now you know what most golfers will never find out. I hope to see you next time, pain-free on the fairway.